What's up, everyone, and welcome back. You are watching Well-Rounded Individual. I am your host, Adam Schindler. Today is a special episode because it is the final and season finale of my first season of podcasts. So, 26 podcasts in. I'm super pumped about that. And, we got a little bit of a different look today as well, because this is another solo podcast, but it's the season finale. And I just kind of wanted to switch it up a little bit. So we're coming back at you. We're going to talk about the year in review, everything well-rounded individual, everything accomplishments, things about that, we can look back on over the past year. Today's December 23rd. So it's the last year of the week in 2024. We're finishing the year. I want to encourage everyone to look back on their year and really recognize and give credit for all the good things that you've done this year, all the different obstacles you've overcome, all the accomplishments that you've curated, all of just the things that you've created in your life to make it a better place, or even things that have kind of maybe not gone so well that you've been able to deal with and handle that have ultimately led you to the point that you're at right now. So it's the end of the year, and everyone does, we got the year in review on Spotify, right? Your Spotify Wrapped. And then you've got year in review on Strava, which is one that I'm super invested in. You've got your year in review on YouTube and everything like that. And I think even Instagram and Facebook do like those, like, what happened to you this year, like little montages. So, that's what we're going to be talking about here. 26 episodes in. I'm really proud of what I have done here and created at Well-Rounded Individual. They say that 90% of podcasts don't go past 4 episodes, and of those 90%, the ones that do, 90% of those don't go past 20. So we are at 26. So I just want to thank everyone who has tuned in to this podcast or shared it or been on it, especially my guests who have been on it. I'm really, really, really lucky and fortunate to just have a network of really valuable people that have just brought so much value and so much content to collaborate with on this podcast. When I first started this, a lot of people were telling me how I should ask these famous people with followings and stuff like that. And I know some people with some pretty good followings that I've known for a long time through MMA and stuff like that. But that's not what I want to do. I don't want to try to use someone else's clout to grow my own. What I want to do is create good, meaningful, valuable conversations from very valuable people who deserve to a platform and deserve to be showcased on this. And I think that every single person who sat down with me this season, all 22 of them, absolutely deserve to be on this podcast and brought a ton of value. Of the 26 podcasts, we did have 22 separate guests this year. I did have a return guest. Ms. Lorraine Lindsay was my sole 2-time guest, so super pumped and super thankful for her for just offering her time and her value on multiple occasions for this podcast, and everyone else who's been part of it. This is my 3rd solo podcast, which aren't necessarily my favorite because I don't know if anyone, you guys watching have ever done it before. If you ever sat down and just recorded yourself and just thought of things to talk to or talk about for an extended period of time, it can get difficult. You can get lost in your head and get lost in your words. So just really practicing and knowing that it's not going to be perfect. And that's something that this process has really taught me a lot over the last year, is just that doing uncomfortable things and putting yourself in uncomfortable situations is just that, right? You're gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna be hard sometimes, but just the the power in showing up for yourself and giving it your best effort. Because especially on the podcast that I did solo earlier, and when I just thought they were just not good at all, I went back and there was a lot of things that like I thought were really good about them once I watched them back. And there was a lot of things that I really learned within it as well. And one of those things that I just really learned is just keep swimming, right? Just keep swimming. To reference Nemo and Dory, my son loves Nemo and Dory, and that's something that cartoonist taught me, and to correlate it with this podcast, and you just got to keep moving forward, whether it's doing a podcast, running, trying to work a business, trying to grow a business, trying to grow a social media, trying to grow a YouTube, trying to do anything worthwhile. It's going to get difficult, and you just got to keep swimming, right? So, man, just reflecting, on the last year and the 26 episodes, I kind of want to touch on literally every single one of our episodes. Just because like I think that every single person who's been on this podcast really deserves like a shout out from me, and really deserves just like a showcase of like, just like a lot of value that they brought to the table, starting with my first podcast guest, who was actually a real inspiration for me to even start this podcast. The reason why I am here right now is because I saw Dorian on Lorraine's podcast before I even knew Lorraine. And I asked Dorian, where was that place? And I came and, once I decided to sit down and take action on this, I thought there was no better person for my first guest than the person who got me here. And that was Dorian Wormsley. And, for you guys who watch and follow the Bamboo Season podcast as well, he's got a great thing going over there. And Dorian is like, he's a real leader, in the sober space and the fitness space, and he's doing a lot of really great things. So super pumped and happy that he kind of like really just like kind of sparked a fire, and at least like, whenever I saw it, like seeing him on these really gave me like the motivation and like almost like the confidence to think that I could do it. So he and I think help each other out in that way. So I'm pumped and happy that he was my first guest. Guest number 2, like I had already mentioned, Lorraine. Lorraine was my most requested return guest, and that's why we had her back a second time, because she has a lot of value. She has her own coaching business. She does her own podcast, and she's just so well spoken and has had a lot of life experience and a lot of just a lot of teaching and wisdom to be divulged. So I'm glad that I was able to have her on twice. And then my third guest, Mason, my man that I train with all the time. He, to come to America at 17 years old with nothing from Iran, and not be able to speak the language, and, create a community and create a business. And he's, since the podcast this summer, created another new business here in Las Vegas. He's he has a new business. I don't know if I can talk about it, but he has Luna Lounge, which is the best hookah lounge in the city, right there by the Encore. And he's also created. He's in I think it's a luxury kitchen cabinet business now. So I'm not sure when that's going to start operating, but I'll let you know for those of you guys who need new kitchens. Then podcast number 4, Simgo. And Sim is just, man, I've known Sim for, I think since probably like 2011. And he's just always been such a cool dude and such like, a leader. When you go into Sim's Jiu-Jitsu Academy, and, he's one of the best jiu-jitsu competitors in the world at one point, in Abu Dhabi, and just really competing at the highest level. But the community that he creates and has created, like within his own academy, which is Simgo Academy, formerly Cobra Kai, just says a lot about like him, his character, and his leadership. So shout out to Simgo. Simgo also, his full length, Simgo's full length was the most watched full length that I've had. So shout out to everyone who is a dedicated follower of Sim, and thank you guys for watching. And I know that I got a lot of folks that watch this podcast on a weekly basis that learned about me and met me through Sim. So everyone who's part of Sim Goes Network and the Cobra Kai Network and the Jiu-Jitsu community, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting, and I just really appreciate it, and I hope that I bring you guys value. Let's see, who was number 5? My 5th guest was Max Terrell, one of my best buddies, man. And Max has been there for me through a lot of things. Max actually picked me up from jail one time. I don't know if we said that on the first podcast, but there was an unfortunate event where I was falsely arrested for something that I should not have been arrested for, and Max had my back and picked me up from jail. So that was awesome. But Max is also sober as well. He's a recovering addict and a great dad and a great business person. And his episode was amazing, and just like a lot of inspiration came from that as well. So thank you to Max. Greg, my man, Greg Rogers, big Greg Rogers. It was episode number 6, all the way from being an All-American football player here in Las Vegas, and to, getting D1 scholarship offers from all the top schools, but ultimately deciding on UCLA. And then, just, the leg breaks and everything that he went through, with his journey from UCLA, and just like all the obstacles he had to overcome, the playing at Southern Utah, and then, just reinventing himself, as this leader and coach in the community. And I am fortunate enough to be able to work with Greg on the daily and see Greg and what he does and how he operates inside the gym, and just, the leadership skills that he has. And man, it's a real pleasure. And I'm really, I'm so happy that I was able to get in with him. Episode 7, the coach, Chris Ortiz, all the way from Houston. That was the first virtual episode we did. And back then, this was probably August, right? I think August. And Coach Chris Ortiz was talking about trying to get jiu-jitsu into the school system there in, I think he's in Montgomery County or Harris County in Texas, there in Houston, Conroe. I think that's Montgomery County. But they are now they're having meetings with the board. They're having the Board of Education. They're getting, Jocko reposted one of Chris's posts as well, and they're really pushing for this jiu-jitsu for schools. And I knew this was the first podcast this was the first podcast that he had brought it up on, but I knew just how he talked about it that he was going to continue, and that what he was talking about was going to come to fruition. He was going to grow it because Coach Chris is just, he's a honey badger when it comes to like doing the right thing and helping people, and he gets things done. So shout out to Chris Ortiz for all the good things he's doing in that community over there in H-Town. And, still, on the mats, I see him all the time over there with those guys at, Gracie Baja, the Woodlands. So shout out there. Session number 8. Woo. Jeremy Mahon and War Training Center. So Jeremy, longtime teammate of mine, longtime friend, longtime training partner, owner of War Training Center. He's got so many, he's got multiple guys in the UFC, Trevin Giles, and then, oh man, I can't believe I'm forgetting the kid's name that he was here with last time. The 185er. I'm going to have to look it up. We're going to come back to that. But Zach Reese. Sorry, Zach Reese, for temporarily forgetting your name. Zach's crushing it. Jeremy's just got like guys all over the map, through Fury, through the UFC, through just different organizations, really kicking ass and just being a leader, and continuing to take that warfighter mindset from his time in the Marines and just translate it to life. So shout out Jeremy Mahan for episode number 8. Episode number 9, Kat. Katrina Temlin. Love her so much. Get to work with her every day as well, in the gym, and just seeing, she's just such a ray of sunshine, and so kind and so nice, and great to be around every single day. And the way she helps her clientele and leads by example. So thankful that I get to be surrounded with such great people. And then number 10, we're going to do 10 at a time here, and then I'm going to bounce around. 10 and 11 were both personal episodes, right? So I did just an About Me episode and then a Q&A episode. So those were 10 and 11, and that brings us almost to the halfway point of where, that was like halftime of season 1 of Well-Rounded Individual. And so, everyone who was involved in this podcast, and just like what I'm, creating, I wouldn't call it a business yet. Maybe it could be a business one day, but this passion project that I've created and that I'm just embarking on. Thank you guys so much for being the first half of it, because I think just like, because the not clientele, but the guests that I brought on within the first half of the show were so valuable, so well spoken, and just really just had such good stories and were so inspirational. It really helped me get other good people on board. You know what I mean? When people see good content, they want to be a part of it too. So, I really got to shout out to everyone who was part of, the first half of this show, for just being so good, and bringing it, and allowing me to just be able to ask valuable people and for them to say yes. So I hope that that's what I can continue to do, is just continue to have like really good, valuable guests on this show, to have a platform, and just to bring inspiration and motivation and knowledge and well-roundedness just to your screen and to your head and to your brain. So that's the goal. So let's talk about a little bit. We'll get back into it. I want to go through 12 through 25 here towards the end of the episode, but some different accomplishments and things that happened this year. I got my YouTube wrapped as well, and so this show and my channel had over 23,000 views since July, whenever I started it, which I know that like that small potatoes, like on like the grand scale of things, but starting from scratch, 23,000 times like someone watched my content on YouTube. I'm super freaking happy about that, and I hope that I can continue to grow that, just with consistency. And, if anyone has any good tips of how I can get better, let me know. And also moving forward, I'm probably going to take a few weeks off with the holidays, and then getting rolling into business in January. But when I start back up in season 2, I want to like really line up the guests and like have a lot of people who can bring value and have a lot to say and are well-rounded, and, bring this platform just more. I feel like I'm overusing the word value, but that's what I want. And that's what I want to create. It's just like to be able to create content that people like, and create messages and share messages that people like. So if you want to be on this show for season 2, hit me up through my email, through DM on Instagram, anything like that, and just tell me why. Tell me what we would do. Tell me what you would like to talk about. And we'll work it out. It does have to be in person. So that's one thing that I also learned over the first season. I'm not saying I'll never do it again, but I would like for 100% of the shows to be in person, because even though you still get a good conversation over Skype and over the virtual, thank God that we have that, because we can communicate that way. But it's just not the same. There's something about sitting down with another person, feeling their energy, and making eye contact, real eye contact, and just being within proximity of another person that like you're really connecting with, that is just a game changer when it comes to relaying a message. And not just relaying a message, but having the impact and the meaning of what you wish to convey, like, come across with more power, if that makes sense. So if you're going to be in Las Vegas and you'd like to do a podcast, and I'm up and running, hit me up in plenty of time before you come. Especially, if you're an entrepreneur, if you've got a platform, if you, if you're a fighter, if you're an athlete, anything that you are, if you are a well-rounded person and you really believe in yourself, I'd love to have you. It's an opportunity that we just want to share ways to make each other better. There's a lot of podcasts out there that are asking for applications and then contacting you and trying to get you to fucking pay to be on their show. This happened to me last week, bro. It's a podcast here in town, Dropping Bombs, by Brad Lee. And I've actually have a couple friends who have been on this podcast. And so they have like this thing where like they, it's like an Instagram, like, would you like to be featured on Dropping Bombs? And so you submit a thing, and you tell your story. And I wrote out a thorough thing about why I would be good for anybody's show. Obviously they didn't read it. It was a sales pitch, because they just go into a system, a salesperson calls you, and he has you tell you about themselves. But what they really want you to do, they try to say like, oh, there's a 2-year wait. And then, but lucky for you, someone just dropped out. One of our sponsored shows just dropped out. So if you'd like to sponsor your own show, you can be on this. If you have a tangible product that you get your return on investment for $25,000 for an episode. What, bro? What? No, I'm not going to pay $25 to be on your show. That's not what podcasting is about. You have a business already. It's about bringing value to other people. It's not about exploiting people to try to get a return on investment for talking about their bullshit. That's why you see there were times I've watched shows, that show in particular, and I've been like, who the fuck is this person? Like, how does this person get on this podcast? Like, yeah, they've got like a business or whatever, but they're 25 years old. Like, nothing against young people. They're 25 years old and they're like doing like the fake Instagram rich thing. It's because they paid to be on it. And like, I'm like, dude, how stupid am I to think that like they actually, like, some of these people like really like were just so interesting that they got to be on a show, right? And that's something that I'm also learning about even the podcast world, right? This is like media, and you think about media and, ads on television and the news and how everything's propaganda and everything's paid for. And that's the thing, is what you see is what other people have paid for you to see. And I don't want this to ever be like that. Joe Rogan's a great dude, because like he only talks to people that he wants to talk to. And that's why I like him so much. And that's why I like some of the other podcasts so much, like the Real as Fuck or Real AF with Andy Frisella, the guy who owns First Form. His podcast is amazing. And I know he doesn't make people pay to be on it. And Jocko's podcast. I know Jocko doesn't make people to be on, pay to be on his podcast. There are probably some other ones that have you pay to be on, but oh my God, like if I paid to be on someone else's podcast, even if it was like a return on, I would feel like such a fucking loser. It's just like, that's not genuine at all. And that's what podcasts were created for, right? It's like the internet. Of course, when you get on the internet, you're going to get phonies everywhere. But mainstream is for the paid to play. Mainstream is for the phony, right? Maybe I'm a purist, but I think that this type of thing should be organic. And it should be for real conversations with real people that you really care about. Why would you even want to sit down with someone across from you that just paid you 25 grand to talk to? Because you don't really give a shit about what they have. You're just happy they fucking paid you $25,000. So you fucking ripped them off. I mean, maybe some guys, like they kept, in the sales call, he kept referencing Andy Elliott, which is like this, I think he's like a car salesman guy, but now he's like holding like classes on how to be a better salesman now that he's been on that show. But his return on investment has been good, I'd say, because now he's holding all these seminars and stuff like that. But like, oh God, dude, like that kind of thing, just like, that's not my kind of people. That is not how I want to run it. And I don't give a fuck if I never make a dime from this thing. If I'm doing it organically and like I'm like bringing people on who like I actually like and I actually care about, and I'm not just like taking money for it. If you make money from doing something that you love and that you've created because like it's what you actually want to do, that's great. But like having people pay to be on your show, oh man, dude, I used to like that guy, bro. Like I used to like him, and now I just think he's so fucking whack for that. Anyways, moving on. Sorry, I just went off on that, but that shit pissed me off, dog. Like, I can't believe it. Like, I can believe it, but I'm going to drop it. So yeah, bro, 26 podcasts. I started racing again this year. I started competing again. That's one of the things that I'm super pumped about and I'm super excited about, that I've done over the last year is just like that, racing in that pro circuit and HYROX. And, I'm not in the Elite 15 yet, but, I've done a really great job. I've done 3 pro HYROX races. I've finished in the top 5 in my age division in every one. There have been, I finished 3rd in Mexico City. I finished 5th in Anaheim twice. So hopefully, I can run a little faster here in Vegas in February and get another top 3 finish. What's crazy about Mexico City is I was so tired and the elevation wiped me out so much that like when it was done, I forgot that there was even a award ceremony. So I like walked my ass back to my hotel, and then my buddy Raul, he messaged me. He was like, dude, he's like, you podiumed in your age division and you left. So I didn't get my, you get a flag like with the number that you finished on. So Mexico HYROX still has my, my flag. They said that I could get it in person the next time I go back and do a race in Mexico. So I'm thinking about, going to Monterrey maybe in April. But I will definitely be back at least to Mexico City within the next year. Hopefully they do another one in Mexico City, but I'm going to have to start running up at the mountain, up at Mount Charleston for that, because that elevation is no joke. Here in Vegas, where I live, close to Red Rock, is a little over 3,000 feet in elevation. We're more like 21 or 22 down here downtown, but in Mexico City, it's 7,500, which is over double that. It's 1,500. It's way higher than even Denver. And whew, man, let me tell you, there is a big difference. Like you can definitely tell. Everything's harder. There's just less oxygen in the air. And if you're not used to it, it makes it tough. But it was a great experience. I'm super pumped to be part of HYROX family. I'm running HYROX focus classes for the race coming up here in Las Vegas on February 1st. We're doing it every Sunday at the Strip Barbell. You know, at the Strip Barbell, I've only got room for about 16 people per class, and I had 15. I joined this past Sunday, so we had a full class. So if you want in and you want to train for HYROX, and it's a great environment, we're pushing it, we're getting better, but you got to hit me up soon, and you have to get it in advance because these people who are training with me, they're already locked in. They're already locked in. So like I might have a couple spots open here and there throughout the weeks when people like decide to take a week off or whatever. But we're pretty at capacity right now. But if you want in, message me. Make sure you message me early. Make sure you commit, and you can commit, because second weekend and we already had a full class. I literally couldn't take anyone else, which tells me a couple things. You guys love it. I love it too. There's no doubt about it, but it's something to be desired, right? Like the training is good. We're working our butts off. We're getting better. But the best thing about it is we're doing it with each other, and we're creating a community, which is what it's all about. And that's one thing that I love so much about HYROX and about, you know, this competition that I've been part of the past year, is just that like it's for everyone. That's what they say too, is HYROX is for everyone. People see me like out here training like an absolute maniac, which is great, right? Because I can do it, and you know I can compete at the pro level, and you know, I'm not the best in the world, but I'm pretty high up there as far as like my age group goes in the pro level. So you have people who are elite, even better than me, but you have groups of like 2 60-year-old women finished it together in a tandem in women's doubles a couple weeks ago. I think it was in Europe. There was another guy in Amsterdam who like set the 75 to 80 world record. He beat his own time. He's 77 years old, and he's competing, and he's doing the open division in the men. And you know, there's probably not a huge pool of 75 to 79-year-olds or 76 to 79-year-olds, but man, just even if he's the only one, like how amazing is that? It literally is for everyone. So if you've ever seen us talk about it and you're interested in it, I'm definitely going to be expanding that part of my business in the upcoming year and offering more classes and more opportunities to train in that style. It's a hybrid style training system. It's, I would say people think it's like CrossFit. It's not quite like CrossFit. It's more like hybrid, like endurance based, like CrossFit. It's more functional than like acrobatic fitness. So more functional fitness, which makes it more digestible, I think, for the everyday person who wants to do it. It's still very elite, right? So it's still very elite, but like for the everyday person that wants to do like the competition, like you're not walking on your hands, you know, you're not doing like these things that like aren't doable for some people. So that's why they say it's for everyone, and which is so amazing, and that's why I love it so much. Yeah, so HYROX training, let's get after it. February 1st, it's coming up. HYROX Vegas is on February 1st. It's here. It's at the convention center. They just opened 800 more spots. I'm not sure how many more of those spots are still open because it's Monday already, and they opened the ticket selling on Friday. Because when I was in Anaheim last month, the guy, one of the big guys high up at HYROX, told me that there are 5,000 competitors on Saturday and 5,000 competitors on Sunday, and they're opening up 800 more. So 5,000, they already sold 10,000 tickets. So 800 more is going to go real quick. So if you want it, get at it. It's so full. The majors, there are 4 majors each year. One was in Hong Kong, one's in Amsterdam, one's here in Las Vegas, and I forget where the other one is, but the 4th one's somewhere. It's not in America. And then the Worlds will be in America again. It's in Chicago this summer. But those 4 majors are for like qualifiers for the Worlds for the Elite 15. So the Elite 15 in the pro side will have their own race, and it's going to be Friday night here in Las Vegas, is what they told me, because because there's so many competitors, 5,000 on Saturday, 5,000 on Sunday, because these guys are competing for like real world championships and real spots to compete for a world championship. They're doing it on Friday night. So what a great opportunity it would be to watch the best guys in the world compete and get after it. So that's just another thing to think about. But let's get back to the second half of the first season of Well-Rounded Individual. So we had a great first half. First 12 seasons to set up the second half. My episode number 12 was Monique Coleman. She runs the Fleeky Girl Club, and Monique on Fleeky. And I love Monique because she's like always just a ball of positive energy. And her and the girls that she like does these events with, that's what I told her when she was here. They win the having most fun award for sure. Like the sunsets, the freaking events that they do, they are always having the most fun. And that's just something that like everyone wants to be around, right? You want to be around other people that are just going to make you smile and laugh and have more fun. So shout out to Monique. Thank you for bringing it and being on here. And then number 13, my boy, Jared Barrows. Jared Barrows, since his appearance on here, is now going to be Daddy Jared Barrows. So super pumped for Jared and Taylor. So shout out Jared and Taylor. I'm not allowed to say the son. It is a boy. I know the name. Can't say the name. We don't want anyone to steal it. So shout out Jared. Just a good leader, a great leader within the strip barbell community, bringing me on, help give me a new opportunity in a new gym. Been a buddy of mine for quite a while, and just a great dude. So shout out and congrats to Jared. Then episode 14, Joe Teepee. Joe Teepee is the owner and operator of the strip CrossFit, the strip barbell, and Tread Vegas. So it's a community, just like this fitness community. We call it the campus because it's all in the same block. There's 3 different gyms, all under the same umbrella. You get Tread Vegas, which is more of like a cardio style, but like hybrid, like high intensity training with weights. A lot of like the torpedo weights. I don't if you're familiar with those. And then CrossFit obviously is self-explanatory. And then you have the open gym, which is the barbell, which is where I operate my business out of as well. So Joe's just like a great guy and a great leader in the fitness community here in Las Vegas. And, just shout out to Joe for giving me the opportunity to create value within his business as well, and create my own business within his business. And just the community that he's built like within that campus. Everyone knows that. Most everyone knows everyone. Everyone pushes everyone. There's a lot of just high achievers in there, and people who get after it. And that's just something that's so valuable and fun to be around. There's other people that really work hard and are working hard to be better. And when you're around people who want to get better, you get better. Let's see. Episode 15. That was another. Sure. I guess I had 4 solos. That was just me. Then episode 16. Talia, black belt in jiu-jitsu, world champion in jiu-jitsu. She has her own training business. She trains at some of the top competitors in bikini in the world. Girls who compete in the Olympia and other top pro shows around the country. Talia is another pleasure of a person that I get to interact with on a daily basis. And, you can kind of see why, I'm always looking to improve, is because I'm surrounded by just people who are just doing such great things and such valuable things all the time. And Talia's part of that. So shout out to Talia. She recently got engaged. She's getting married this May to her fiance Emilio. So shout out Emilio as well. And loved having her on. Episode 17, Lamia Lee with Lammy's Bakehouse, best cookies in the city. I don't know, maybe the best cookies in the world. I love those things. Lamia is just a gem of a person, and she is a businesswoman and just part of a family full of like strong women, and yeah, uh, she's a runner, an athlete, and just a great balance of like being able to treat yourself but also work hard. And I think we all need that, because I know that I need someone like Lamia in my life, because I get too goggins out sometimes, and I go so hard that I don't think that I deserve to treat myself. But she's a great reminder that you can do both, and that you should do both, and that you should allow yourself, you know, to work hard, but also reap some benefit as well. So shout out Lamia. Ooh, 18 and 19. Love it. 18 and 19, we're family. So episode 18 was my brother. And man, like, I love doing that episode with my brother. There's a lot of views on that on the full length YouTube. And, I think me and him could sit down and, have like a 10-hour podcast, and it would probably be better than the 1 hour, right? If we just had like a hidden camera that just watched us talk, you'd probably hear some better stories. Because I think maybe when we got on camera, like, we didn't let everything go. But shout out to my brother. Definitely want to have him back on again in person. And then episode 19 with my stepdad, Dr. Chuck Mitchell, owner of Destination Cigars. They've got 3 locations now. I'm hoping they're going to open a location out here in Clark County within the next couple of years. That'd be amazing, because they have 2 in West Virginia. They've got 1 in Tennessee. Getting another 1 in Tennessee soon. So hopefully we get a West Coast location here out in Clark County here in a couple years. Destination Cigars, they have their own brand of cigars as well. West Pordios. And you can only get those cigars through Destination Cigars. So if you're a cigar guy, or a cigar guy in your life, or you're a cigar gal, look up Destination Cigars. West Pordios is their signature brand. They have everything curated and made in Nicaragua. So it's good stuff, and just going to grow. So I'm excited about that. And, he not only is he a businessman, but he's, a longtime medical doctor, and, basically like my encyclopedia. So anytime I need something or I have a question, I don't go to Google, I go to Dr. Chuck. So, shout out Dr. Chuck. Episode 20, King David MMA, back at it with, getting 5+ professional wins after the age of 40 in MMA, Fight Circus star. Fight Circus is going to be coming to Las Vegas as well. David just posted a reel the other day, 2 days ago, that I collabed on with him about Jocko, and it's getting a lot of traction as well. So shout out to David for just being a great personality, and really fun, and bringing a lot of value, and just being a tough dude too. So keep going on, keep going. All right, just a few more, right? So episode 21 was Liz Carrillo. Liz is an IFFB pro, and just been in the fitness industry forever. She really told a great story about like how she came to America from Mexico City with her mom, and just overcoming life's obstacles, and just being able to grow and grow stronger of it. And she's encountered a lot of different things, getting breast plant removal, and going through her the embryonic pregnancy and everything like that. Just a very strong person, and also a high achieving person. So glad to have her on. Episode 22, Jeslyn Mallet. Sorry about that, Jez. I don't know why I do it. It's easy to mispronounce whenever it's spelled out. Jeslyn Mallet. And her photography business. She was just, I read a post that she put earlier today, and, it's just really fun to watch her as she grows like within her business and her entrepreneurship, because, I met her at 4:45 a.m., that was, 6 years ago at Orange Theory, and just seeing like how she's come just physically and health wise and business wise, and, you know, growing, and just seeing her be like so thankful for like the path and the risk that she took this morning, like actually not too long ago before I came here, talking about like, just like how thankful she is for the decisions in her life and how it's changed for that. So shout out to Jess for like taking that risk and betting on herself and making it happen. Episode 23, Michael Sheedy. Michael Sheedy, one of the top fitness pros here in Vegas. He's just really kind of set the standard for like, time optimization and growing your business, and going from an in-person trainer, spinning his wheels in the gym all day, to taking it online, to where he opens up his time freedom and his business freedom, and just like employing other people and helping a lot of people. Anytime you watch Sheedy's story and, you see his transformations, and what he does works, because his guys go from normal to abnormal in a good way. So he gets really great transformations from everyone he works with, and love watching that, and love, just like the overcoming that he brought and the value that he brought to his episode. Then 24 was once again Lorraine on her return from that solo trip that she took to Spain. Loved hearing about that. Loved hearing about just like, just being able to choose yourself and continue to move forward. So second time around, everyone wanted her back, and we had her back. And then last week, Miss Sadie Sanchez, and the author of Dimensions. And if you haven't checked out that book yet, and you haven't checked out Sadie, definitely, if you miss that, go back and watch it, because that episode in that book, especially if you're looking to learn and dive deeper into like who you are and how you think and why you think what you think, her book is 100 questions to ask yourself to better understand your perspective. I would recommend it to every person breathing air, just because we can all benefit from continuing to understand ourselves better. So then that brings us to here, this wrap up, episode 26, the season finale. Man, I've been talking about doing a podcast for a long time, and, I finally pulled the trigger and I did it, and I'm really proud of the content that I put out so far. And, I feel like I'm just going to continue to get better at it. If you love it, continue to give feedback, share this. If you love the show, you want it to continue. It's tough to do these, week after week after week after week, and finding people who are valuable to bring on. If you want to be on it, if you've ever thought about it, reach out. It's not easy to find people. Obviously I could find anyone if I just asked anyone, but I want a specific type of guest that really like brings the value. So if you feel like you're valuable, man, hit me up. If you're in the Las Vegas area, hit me up, and let's sit down and chat, and see if it'd be a good fit. Pumped to continue on. Some things that I'm super pumped about finishing the year is this year, I just today set a new PR for miles run in a year. So my previous PR for a year was 2022, and I ran 25:05. So in 2021, I ran 24:04 or 25:04. In 2022, I ran 25:05. 2023, I fell under the 2,500. So I only ran 24:42 last year. And then so I recrossed 2,500 2 days ago, and now I'm at 25:13. So the most miles I've ever run in a year have been at the oldest age I've ever been. I feel better than I ever have. I'm continuing to put in the work, and I'm gonna probably cross about 2560. So, my goal is to have run over 10,000 miles within the last 4-year period. And I think I've got to get to, I think 47, 2,547 to cross that, which will be done this week. So 10,000 miles in 4 years. And I couldn't be happier about that. It really does nothing, right? So like, it just makes people be like, oh, wow, that guy's crazy. But, but what it really does is just change, like, to go back to perspective, and just like, it allows me to like work things out in my head, to stay healthy, to work towards a goal, and to be able to think clearer. Exercising, and cardiovascular in particular, isn't necessarily, it's not for aesthetics as much as it is for your health. It's for your heart. It's for your brain. There's so much cognitive benefit from keeping your blood flowing, keeping your body flowing, getting your cardiovascular good. And anyone you talk to who's an avid runner will tell you this, like, right? Running is not for my body. It's for my brain. And it's a necessity. And if you're not a runner, if you don't want to run, walk. I think walking is just as valuable, right? I always tell people that, well, I get my best ideas on walks because it still releases those endorphins, the dopamine. It still gets my cardio going, but I'm not working so hard that it's the only thing I can think about. Sometimes when I'm on a run, I'll get good ideas, but I'll bounce from idea to idea because you're just working so hard that it's hard to like really curate and develop on different ideas. My mind bounces around a lot. Yeah, it's been a great year. Most miles I've ever run, most podcasts I've ever done, most HYROX competitions I've ever done. Shout out to everyone who works with me on a daily basis, all my clientele, for being a part of my life every day, for coming in and working with me and trusting me with your mind, your body, your health, your strength, and your life, really. Because that's what I do, and that's what I aim to do, is just help improve people's lives through their health, through their strength, and building their confidence physically so that they can have more confidence in every area of life. 2025 coming up, I'm just looking to continue to grow. We're growing that training, growing the HYROX training. Love to have my own facility for HYROX moving forward at some point in life. So that's something that I'm focused on, and something that I'm interested in and excited about curating in 2025. And if you know me, and you've known me for a while, sometimes it doesn't always happen immediately, but when I work towards something, I'll continue to go. And that's another thing that's been so just like really like beneficial about my sobriety, is that my consistency in everything has just gone to another level. So look for big things from well-rounded individual and me in the future in 2025. And thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Please share it. Continue to share it. And, thanks for having me as part of your life. So, again, I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas. 2 days away, it's Christmas Eve. A Happy New Year. And we'll see you on the other side in 2025. Thanks for being here.